So the literally embattled president of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelenskyy, has been put through hell in the last 3 weeks. All the Ukrainian people have since Putin invaded the sovereign nation. Zelenskyy has become a symbol of strong leadership, and he's captured the hearts of freedom fighters worldwide. Well, on Wednesday, Zelenskyy pleaded directly to a joint session of Congress for Joe Biden to show some form of strength as a leader.
I'm addressing the President Biden. You are the leader of the nation, of your great nation. I wish you to be the leader of the world. Being the leader of the world means to be the leader of peace.
All right, so it's clear. Zelenskyy's words are telling the world, right, that he's not a leader. But what does his body language say? Zelenskyy's, not Joe Biden's. Joining me now to answer that question is former U.S. Army interrogator and behaviorist, body language expert, Gregory Hartley is here. Greg, good to see you. What do you make of that first clip from Zelenskyy?
First off, Grant, thanks for having me. But yeah, he's doing a direct appeal to Joe Biden. If you really want to know what he's trying to send across, watch the concentration in his face as he tries to pronounce these English words. Probably not a native English speaker by any stretch, and you can see he's stressed. So he's not engaging with his forehead and his brow, which we typically engage other people with when we're talking to them. He's so stressed, but then as he hits key points like addressing, leader of the free world, your great country, leader of peace, you see him make hard eye contact, like, look at me, listen to me, I'm trying to get to you. So his message is clear.
Certainly does, and he almost looks like he's looking right at us as he's talking. You know, what was interesting is he spoke in his native language for almost the entire speech, and then he ended in English. What do you think was behind that, and why didn't he just do the whole speech in English?
Well, I don't think he is quite comfortable. If you listen, he mispronounces words. He says lives, not lives. I think he is an actor and a very well-trained actor, I believe, and also a comedian, but he's also under a hell of a lot of stress. And so when you're under that kind of stress, your brain doesn't want to try to make mistakes, especially he's not singing for his dinner, he's singing for his life. So he's trying to get as much help as he can. And I think that's why he shifted gears to talk to American people about 9/11, about Pearl Harbor, and then to talk directly to Joe Biden.
All right, let me play the 9/11 clip and then get your response to that. Check this out.
When your sky was black from the planes attacking you, just remember it. Remember September the 11th, when innocent people were attacked. Our country experienced the same every day.
Greg, what do you make of it?
So this is actually a very beautiful piece of body language. If you watch him, he shows actual sorrow when he's talking. You see his brows kind of rise to a center point, sorrow when he's talking about Pearl Harbor. Then you see contempt as his face draws up and as he talks about 9/11. And then you actually see some anger and telling as he's telling you what's going on in his country. And you shouldn't take any of that as reading into us or it's directed at us. It's what he's feeling about what's going on in his country. And so there's residual emotion that's boiling up to the surface.
How hard is it for you, knowing that he's a trained actor, and to tell what's sincere and what's not sincere? Because he does a pretty good job of certainly looking sincere.
Yeah, I think, at the end of the day, the same thing you'd say with Putin, what you believe becomes your reality. And if he believes everything he's saying, then it becomes real for him. And certainly, let's face it, if tomorrow this war ends, it's not going to end well for him, regardless of how it ends. You can almost rest assured of that. So I think what he's doing is showing you real emotion.
Not to make light of this, but George Costanza said to beat the lie detector test, if you believe it's true, it is. Remember that episode?
Well, there's a fact.
What an Army
to be a true believer,
interrogator thinks about that.
Yep. Yeah, I watch Putin.
All right, I'm going to get to Putin.
If you don't know you're lying, it's hard. Then you don't get stress. That's the key, right?
All right, I'm going to get to Putin. I want to play one more Zelenskyy bite. This is strength over weakness. Listen to this.
Strong doesn't mean weak. Strong is brave and ready to fight for the life of his citizens and citizens of the world.
Greg?
Yeah, you don't see nearly the passion there you see when he's trying to appeal to Joe Biden or when he's trying to appeal to the American people. He's making a statement about how we're living, and you can see it's like he's reading and using facial expressions as you would expect an actor to do there, but not nearly the passion, not nearly the direct nature, looking into the camera. He does make eye contact a couple of times.
What do you make overall of him, real quick, overall of his performance, really quickly?
Yeah, overall, I think he looks sincere and genuine and like, I need help, come and help us. And I think he's appealing to the American people. He's speaking words. Yeah, look, whoever wrote that speech pulled out every stop. Martin Luther King, 9/11, Pearl Harbor. They pulled out every stop because they're trying to appeal to Americans.
All right, I want to get to this one because this is Vladimir Putin now saying some very Hitler-like things, and I'm curious on your reaction to his body language. Watch this.
But any people, and even more so the Russian people, will always be able to distinguish true patriots from scum and traitors, and simply spit them out like a fly that accidentally flew into the mouth. Spit them out. I'm convinced that such a natural and necessary cleansing of society will only strengthen our country.
Look, Greg, he scares me just looking at him. I mean, this has got to tell you something right here.
Well, that's hard to love. I'll say that. You know, he's leaning in. He's telling. His brow is drawn down. The brows are together and down. He's angry. He's showing anger. He's using his hand and his whole body to punctuate what he's thinking as he brands this whole group of people. When we think about true believers, whether what he believes is true or not, to him it is, to your point earlier, he's a true believer, and he's branding us and them and separating people out and leaving them out for whatever happens to them. But you can see disgust in his face when he says scum. You can't miss it. And then one whole side of his face lifts in contempt. So it's all there.
Yep, it sure is. I'll tell you, Stinchfield's Army loves you, Greg Hartley. I get more emails about this segment every week than any other one. So just keep coming back for me because it's so fascinating.
I will. Love coming.
Gregory Hartley, thank you.